I got it anyway. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming, my friend. This is Burn the Ship. The goal of the Burn the Ship podcast is that we want to connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We want to talk to people that have walked the walk and talked the talk and been through all those things that you experience as a small business owner. So I saw a very interesting post about your business on Facebook from a friend of mine that's been on the podcast before, actually. And I just kind of reached out because I looked at your Facebook page and I found that your brand and what you do is very, very unique. So without stealing any of your thunder, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Okay. Well, my name is Kayla Flores, and I have a dog grooming business. We have a dog grooming salon here in Kennesaw off Cobb Parkway. And we are a little bit different. We do, when I opened my salon, I definitely did want to do something a little bit different than just opening another dog grooming salon. So
Sure.
we're very, we really focus a lot on like the dog's safety and comfort and that they have a good experience. So it's set up instead of like an open floor plan, we have private suites and we just do like one-on-one grooming. But yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah, sure.
my business.
So tell me a story. Tell me how you got into the idea of opening a dog grooming place.
I'll just kind of start with how I got into dog grooming, because that was never really on my radar. I went to school to be a teacher. I went and taught English in China for a year, and then I came back and kind of
Pause. Go back.
Yeah,
You
so
taught English in China for
I
a
taught
year.
English in China for a year. So
Really?
that's what I kind of thought I was gonna do. And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It was just living abroad was a lot harder than I thought. I mean, I knew it would be difficult, but it was really, really difficult. And then getting back, like teaching here, just didn't really end up being what I wanted to do. So I was just kind of in a weird phase of my life. I was bartending and doing like dog walking. I've always had dogs, always really liked dogs, but I wasn't, had never thought of dog grooming as a career. And I think I was bartending when I met a couple that had a mobile dog grooming business. And they ended up hiring me. And I kind of was like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, all I know how to do is like nails and that's it. And so they trained me and I really, really, I liked it a lot. And it was really challenging. And they threw me into it. Also, I did, have to kind of figure things out as I went. I didn't feel like I had the most maybe training that, looking back, I'm like, I can't believe I was out there on my own just grooming dogs, driving around Denver. But, so that's how I kind of got into it, and I really enjoyed it, and I definitely really liked the mobile aspect of it because we were doing just kind of the same thing I do now with the one-on-one, one at a time, instead of like having a bunch of, as opposed to like going to PetSmart to get your dog groomed.
And you were in Denver?
I was in Denver.
Are you from there?
No, I'm from Knoxville,
Oh,
Tennessee
cool.
Originally. I've moved a lot.
Been everywhere?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's where I was when I started, and that was in 2019. So I did that for about a year, and then I left, working for them for, it wasn't working out working for them. Just they were having me drive a lot and I was enjoying the grooming part, but not the driving like 4 or 5 hours a day part. So I kind of went back to bartending, and then 2 weeks later I got laid off from that because of COVID. So I was just like in a weird place where I was like, well, I just lost 2 jobs and I don't know what to do. So it was really scary. I think I was like working at Whole Foods for a little bit. And then one of my clients that had been grooming their dog called me and was like, my dog really needs a groom and everywhere's closed. Like, can you come to the house and do it? And I was like, well, I don't have the equipment. Like, I just was using my boss's equipment. So he ended up just buying me everything I needed. He had his own business, and I think just kind of saw that I was just kind of in a place where I was stuck. Because I told him that's something I really like to do, just like start doing house calls and stuff. So he helped me out a lot.
Nice guy.
So just, ending up losing both of my jobs ended up being a really good thing. Because from there I kind of had my own equipment. We moved down here to Georgia shortly after. And I worked for a few places, a few kennels, mobile groomers in the area. But I just kept taking my own clients like on the side.
Sure.
And then working in like more of a salon setting, I really started to realize how much I valued just having just me and the dog being in a calm environment. Like I preferred grooming at home so much more, just because some of the places I worked at, it was just where I didn't feel like the dog's comfort was ever the priority. It was, how many dogs can you get done a day? We're going to have them all come in at 9 a.m. and then, one of them's going to end up sitting in a crate all day, basically, until we can get to it. Like it just didn't make a lot of sense to me because the dogs are stressed out and then I'm stressed out, and I didn't enjoy that part of it because, I don't think anyone gets into dog grooming because they want to be stressed and have stressed dogs.
Right. And I think you're very empathetic to dogs.
Yeah, and
I think it's just a natural human thing that you're very, very empathetic to animals.
yeah, I love animals. I've always felt like, I guess like a connection. Like it's very therapeutic. Like
Yeah,
sometimes
for
to
sure.
just be able to like be around animals. When I'm having a bad day, my dogs know and they come and hang out with me. And so I really enjoyed that part, like being able to make a connection. And it can be really rewarding when you can, make a dog feel better. Like sometimes they come in, they're super matted, and you can take care of that and they feel so much better when they leave. Or just even seeing like a client be really happy with their haircut. There's a lot of really rewarding parts of it. But for me, like working in a stressful environment just like takes all of that away, and it makes the job really difficult.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
I think the most important thing, other than like safety, when working with animals is just your energy.
Yeah.
So if you're giving off negative energy, a dog doesn't understand what that negative energy is coming from. They just know something's wrong.
Yeah.
So even if you have a bad day and you bring that into work, it's going to affect your work because the dog's not going to like cooperate for you, trust you, or, staying still on the table while you're trying to use sharp equipment on them. So if it's a stressful environment, the dog's going to read that negative energy. They're going to be more stressed, and then I'm more stressed. So
Yeah, for sure.
my whole thing was just trying to like eliminate that stress.
Well, we do it for people, right? I mean, in
Yeah.
a salon setting, I think that
Yeah,
there's
you don't want to be like,
you spend
oh my
a
God,
lot
it's
of time
chaotic.
thinking about that as a business owner. You're like, oh, we got to
Yeah.
make it really easy and everybody
Exactly.
that experience for everybody. But
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense that well, I guess it makes sense in both ways. It makes sense that people hadn't really thought about that for dogs, and then it makes sense that there's some value in that as well because, like, my dog just went to the groomer, right? We have 3 dogs. We have 2 schnoodles, and we have
I like schnoodles.
we have a he's a Yorkie and a something else. He's really small. I can't remember exactly what kind of dog he is, but like I know they don't enjoy it. I know they
Yeah.
don't. I can tell when they come home they don't enjoy it. You know what I mean? And I can tell which one of them were calm and which one of them were not at any given day because there's long spots in their hair, things like
Yeah.
that, because they wanted to move around. They wanted to be off the table. You know what I mean? Like I've seen that. I've experienced that before within my own dogs. But yeah, that's a different way of thinking than
and I think a lot of people, like, I think the culture around like being, a dog parent, now people say like
Right.
they are like they say a lot of millennials, instead of having kids, they're having dogs, they're having pets, they're having cats, and I
Yeah.
think the culture is changing towards that, and so I think that's one of the
I
reasons.
think they're having dogs and cats and kids.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I've heard like, they're the way people are treating their dogs and caring for their dogs, it has changed. Not that like people never cared about their dogs before, but I think that
It's become more of a
Yeah.
family member type of thing.
like even more so than maybe even if it was before. I think now it's even like there's been a really big shift, and I think that's why people have
Ours is like
responded
that.
to
I
it as
really don't
well.
know where it came from either because
Yeah.
when I was a kid, we had outside dogs. And it never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Like the idea of outside dogs never crossed my mind. They would just be outside all
Yeah.
year. You know what I mean? Like all year, unless it was like 5 degrees at night, they would come
Yeah.
in. You know what I mean? But now, like, my wife makes chicken for my dog
Yeah.
when we cook. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like it's so much more now. It really has changed. I think
Yeah.
the way that people interact with their dogs has definitely changed. Maybe it's a social media thing.
Yeah. And I think there's
Kim
definitely been a
Kardashian carrying
shift.
around her
Yeah.
little Pomeranian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, can we do this? Can you go to her Facebook? You might have to tell them how to find it. Actually,
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard to find. It's just it's Furrever Fluffy.
yeah. So open Google Chrome and then just drag it over here. Yeah, it's over here. You're good. All right, what is it?
It's Furrever Fluffy, and it's Furrever. Yeah, that's just the second one. And
Pet
then it
crematory.
should be
That's
Facebook.
crazy.
Yeah, second one's Facebook right there. Oh.
Yeah, keep scrolling. So like, yeah, just click see all photos right there. So this was like the first thing that I had ever saw that blew me away, right? Because obviously I have an affinity for production at some level, right? Obviously this and some of the other stuff that we do. But I saw the small photo set and I was like, that is brilliant. That's like a 4x4 area of your office. That is so valuable So valuable. And I remember you telling me I don't take pictures for everybody unless people ask about the pictures. Like,
I mean,
sometimes
I
we
try,
have,
but
yeah, sometimes we don't have the
we
time.
do
And I'm
like
like,
40 dogs a day sometimes.
yeah.
So.
And this is so smart. Can you go down? I want to see one of the really good dyes too.
Yeah, we
Maybe
do
you
a lot
can,
of
maybe you
color
can
and
pick
stuff.
one out that you recognize as a really cool dye.
That's Yara. That's the one that looks like a zebra right now.
Oh, that one's yours.
Yeah. Let's see. I know I post a lot of videos too, but I don't know. I think they're just on Instagram. Trying to think.
I think I saw it on here though. The first dye that I saw was the maybe like a 4th of July one or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
There was one. Oh yeah, there's one. There's Stella.
Yeah.
She's cute. She's a cute girl.
Yeah, it's all just really unique, right? And I thought that was so brilliant, right? You can just exit. You can go back to the other scene, but I just thought that was different. I just thought that was so different because it made me want to do business with you, and also pet grooming is super inconvenient a lot of times. Like to pick you up at 9 a.m., pick you up or drop you off at 9 a.m. and pick you up by 5 p.m. and no earlier, no later. It's like I'm working all of those hours. You know what I mean?
From a business perspective, I think that a lot of shops do it that way because you can make more money. Like if I'm, waiting on my next client to get there, if I'm done early, it is easier if all the dogs are just there. But I've never understood that from, as a groomer. Like I said, it's more stressful. But,
yeah, it's not an assembly line.
And then also, I don't really want 40 dogs barking in the back of my salon. That's
for
40
sure.
dogs I'm now caring
You
for.
can you can transition to that other
in my opinion. And that's where I think you hear some of these horror stories, like where, the dog dies in the crate or something. Like they're just not supervised. They'll bathe them, put them under a heated fan dryer, and then not check on them for 3 hours. I'm not saying like every place does that, but there are some places. And that's, another big thing. Like I just said, if I'm going to start a business, because it did just start with me taking clients out of my house till I quit my job, and now I have, I think a staff of 12.
And you probably do like 500 dogs a month or something like that now.
I don't even know how many. I couldn't tell you how many a month. We do quite a few, but but the way I have it set up is like it is very different, and I did want it to be different. Not only in that, like we have the private suites, and we try to do only one-on-one appointments, and we get busy, we get behind, but it's. For the most part, that's the goal.
Sure.
The goal is your dog comfortable? Is your dog here for just while they're being worked on? Because I don't necessarily want them there when they're not being worked on. Because, and I'm sure like
stressing
my pet
everybody
parents
else
don't either.
out. Yeah.
Like they want them there for their haircut. They don't want to, drop them off at 9 and then not be able to pick them up till 5. Because it's like, well, are they being let out to the bathroom? Are they being fed, given water? And it's as we're busy, it's hard to always make sure those things get done. So for me, I'm like, 3 hours, that should be the max that they're there.
For sure. Well, tell me this from a business perspective. What did you find that you were really good at the beginning that kind of helped you start being successful?
I think that people definitely recognized like what I was passionate about, and like I guess the benefit of someone that cares about your dog not being stressed while they're being groomed. I feel like I sometimes care too much. I think sometimes I have some clients that are like, yeah, I know, like you've told me before, like I do really enjoy caring for the animals and like giving people tools to care for them better, or educating my clients. A lot of people just don't know, like, hey, you could be doing this for your dog and they're going to be way more comfortable. They're going to be healthier, they're going to be safer. I really enjoy that part of it, and I think that when I just kind of realized like what I wanted to do, that I did want to kind of do something different, people responded to that really well. So getting clients for me was the easiest part at the beginning when it was just me.
Yeah.
I was able to quit my job, I think, within like a year of kind of doing that. I had enough to just kind of quit my job and do it as a full-time thing.
I imagine that you convert a lot of those people that you have that conversation with. The way you speak about it is very unique.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that like from an outside perspective, the way that you talk about what you do is so unique from the rest of your industry.
And I did want to kind of make a change in the industry, because right now the industry isn't regulated at all. And so like even if you go to PetSmart or something, they have, or
pet hair
Petco or
clippers
corporate, they have like their academy or their training that you have to go through. but it really is just going to depend which location you're at, whether they're actually following their own procedures. And there are some shops that maybe they have literally no training or they have no certifications. And most people don't think to ask that because they don't know that. They don't, do any research. But anyone could pick up a pair of shears and say, yeah, I can groom your dog. And that's completely legal for them to do. There's no regulation. It's not like hair where you have to have some kind of
cosmetology license or whatever.
There's nothing like that. But you're dealing with moving animals and
do you have
equipment.
A certification?
I do.
What is it?
Yeah.
What kind of certification is in that?
I have several.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I do kind of done like more like here and there because there are a lot of different kind of certifications you can get.
Really?
So all of my groomers do have some kind of certification. I think one of them is through I'm gonna say it wrong. I think it's IPG, but that's one of the big ones. And then I've taken more like kind of different courses. There's a big pet fair that comes to Atlanta every year.
So there's a lot of resources out there to learn more stuff.
Yes.
If you're really worried about, or I guess interested in being good at your craft, there is plenty of resources out there.
Yeah, and I think as far as with dog grooming, experience plays a lot into it as well. I think, because you can take an online course, and I wouldn't recommend trying to, groom certain dogs. So experience, I did several apprenticeships and did a lot of certifications. But that's just really important to me, though. I just feel like if someone's going to trust their animal with me, I should know what I'm doing.
Sure.
I shouldn't be running into a situation where I don't know what to do or the animal's safety or health is at risk. Like,
sure.
I'm pet CPR certified. Luckily, I've never had to use that. But that was important to me because especially when I was working, out of my home by myself, I didn't want to run into a situation that I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah. My wife is pet CPR certified, and she has used it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. My dog is like not the smartest dog. You know what I mean? I guess none of them are like, I guess one of them out there is the smartest dog, but mine is not very bright. Very loving, and the best listener ever. Like I took her to the vet on Monday, and everybody at the vet was like freaking out because I took her in on the leash, and then I got like the pad of stuff that they make you fill out whenever you get there, and I just set the leash on the ground, and she just laid there beside me, and everybody was like holding their dogs back and fighting with them, and my dog's just like, no, not even interested in anything else. She's just laying beside my legs, so like my dog's a little bit different, but yeah, she runs with sticks in her mouth like forward.
Oh, no.
It's like a terrible habit, but she's done that a couple of times and fell and choked on a stick, and she went all the way through to like Kathleen giving her CPR and me pulling a stick out of her throat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we went through that. That was not that long ago. That was like 2 months ago, maybe. It was a crazy experience.
That's good she knew it, though, because I have heard that a lot of time, if they do stop breathing, like by the time you get to the vet.
She gets bored at work. She's an accountant for like a really large, like, tidal pond place. So they have like 150 locations, and she does all their accounting, right? And so she gets bored at work, and I think she saw it on TikTok, pet CPR.
Yeah.
And then that's how she did it online. Once she found it on TikTok, she went and took the thing online.
It's a good thing to have. So we all have, some kind of certification like that and everything.
What was really difficult at the beginning? What was the hardest part of getting this all off the ground and rolling?
As far as like, the grooming side and changing the industry and like what my brand is and all of that, I do feel like I have a very clear vision. But the business side, I've never run a business. I didn't go to school to run a business. I never planned on running a business. This definitely, I feel like, kind of happened to me. I didn't necessarily go into it thinking I'm going to start a really big business and open a salon.
Do you spend a lot of time, like, massaging those skills now?
Yeah, I'm catching up. I'm trying to play catch up.
Kind of playing the learning curve?
Yeah, and that's how I know Melissa, as I'm in her, she has a
mastermind group.
Mastermind group for women business owners in the area. They've been a really good resource for me. I have someone from where I took out a loan that meets with me quite often, gives me a lot of advice. My husband has a degree in business, so he's been very helpful.
What does he do?
As well. He works for AT&T.
I think you told me that on the phone.
Yeah, so he sells business phone lines, so he set me up with my business lines and everything.
Yeah, so
but
he's like me.
Helped a lot with.
He's like me, the old B2B world.
Yeah,
I love that. That's cool. I should talk to him too. I probably have some people we can talk to. That's nice.
Yeah, he'd probably like that. But he's been. I don't know if I could have turned it into what it's turned into without him, because he's really helped me with just making it into more of a business. Because for me at first I was like, oh, this is cool, like I'm making all my own money, and I don't work for anyone. But he kind of helped me see like where I could go with that, and as it kept growing, like faster than I
Yeah.
could, keep up with it. I started hiring more help, and now we've opened the salon, and he's helped me out a lot with that. But there's still some learning curves I'm having. I've never managed people before. I have a really great team, which makes it easier, but I've also never managed, anyone, let alone 12 people. So that part of it has been challenging. And then also just putting, like, in my head, I have a very clear vision of what my brand is, what my culture is at work, and then just replicating that and making sure that it's consistent.
Sure.
Because I do think that's really important, is that
I think it's super important because, like I said, it's what caught my eye.
Yeah.
It's literally what caught my eye. And I was like, it is insane to me that someone in this industry is working so hard at their brand. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, I appreciate you coming more than anything because I wanted to get a good snapshot of your business because I think people will listen to this. And I think people will go look at your Facebook and things like that and see how you've organized your thought and see how you've made it replicable and all those things. And it works, so I appreciate you coming more than anything. I got, kind of the way that we always, well, I guess two questions left for you. How do people find you if they want to do some business with you or buy something from you or send their dog to you?
We are on Facebook. I have a website. It's just furreverfluffy.com. And like I said, we spell forever Furrever.
And
So
Spaw.
it's like dog fur. Yeah, and then Spaw with the paw in it. So there's a W at the end. So it's super cutesy. But people like that stuff when it comes to dogs. So so we have a website. We're on Instagram. I do a lot on Instagram. Like, I do reels, and I try to post a lot of things for, like, at home care and, like, just resources for all my pet parents as well. So if you have a dog and you want to chat, my number's on there. Or if you just, I like talking to other business owners as well. Because, like I said, I definitely am still learning. And
Sure.
there's a lot of things I'm figuring out as far as that stuff.
I was the same exact way. I think we all
it's
are.
hard.
We all are.
There's things I didn't even know to think about or expect.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. And that's what's so brilliant about kind of and I guess that's a little pat on my back that is unintentional, but I think that's what is so valuable, I guess you could say, about the podcast is that, like, we ask you what you're good at and we ask you what you're bad at pretty transparently. And people relate to that. You know what I mean? Because we all are. Like, I'm a salesperson. My entire sales game is morphed a little bit of me and mostly of stuff that I've heard other people say that sounded really good that I thought I could say even better than them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we all learn from what we're given around us. The last question is kind of an allusion to our name, right? Have you ever heard "burn the ship" before?
I've listened to a couple.
Have you heard the phrase though?
Yeah.
So, like, Hernan Cortez, right, Spanish conquistador, he lands, like, in what is Mexico now today. And the first thing that he does is makes people, like, take apart all the boats and burn them. Because he was showing them, like, we're in the new world, whatever. We have to figure out how to make it. Yeah, exactly. And the whole no going back thing, we subscribe to that in the business world pretty thoroughly here.
I think you have to.
Yeah, for sure. So that's my question is, what does it feel like to burn the ship? Why should, the people that are watching relate to your story and they relate to your skills and they relate to what's difficult, but, they don't know what it quite feels like yet to burn the ship. So what's it feel like? What's it like? What's the value?
I mean, it is very rewarding, but it's very overwhelming. And there are days when I, wonder if I made a huge mistake. There's some days that I feel like I don't know what I'm doing as far as, I do feel like my business happened really quickly. It went from just me by myself to me, a pretty big team in a very short amount of time. But I think that I think for me that if you're going to go all in and you're going to do it and you have a clear vision and have people around you that are supporting you, because I don't think that I'd be able to, even fathom to continue going if I didn't have that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The support system is everything. Because small business, not a lot of people will tell you that transparently, I think.
Yeah. And I'm
hard.
never going to pretend, I know what I'm doing and I know how to run a business.
It's hard.
It's
really
not
hard.
really why I didn't start a business because I thought, I'll be a really good business owner. I had a vision, I had a purpose, I had a passion, and people responded to it. So I'm going with it, As long as it keeps growing, I'm going to keep trying to grow and hopefully offer that experience to as many people.
You got to work hard. It is not easy.
Hard work.
Yeah,
sure.
It's not easy. Business is not easy. Dog grooming's not easy.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming. It really does mean a lot. I appreciate you allocating the time.
It.
Yeah. I think what you do is really cool.
Thank
I think
you.
your brand is really cool. I look forward to doing some business with you in the future.
Okay.
I'll get this edited sometime over the next couple of weeks, and we'll put it out there in the world.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
coming.
so much.
Burn the ship.
Burn the ship.